This is Bumping Into, where we have interesting conversations with people from all walks of life.
Hi everybody, welcome to Bumping Into, where we are proud to celebrate the best of Australian music and the artists behind it. Today we are catching up with a band that has continued to make waves in the rock scene with their high energy performances and guitar-inspired tracks. They've just released a new single that has fans and critics talking, and they're about to embark on a new tour that promises to deliver more of the high output fans have come to expect. I'm talking about Australian rock group Avalanche. We've caught up with them a couple of years ago, and we're back with them again for this episode. So sit back and turn up the volume. Here is Avalanche. Hey guys, how you going? It's been how long since we last spoke? I think it's the first one that we did would be, it's got to be almost 2 years ago. Wouldn't it be this June, 2 years ago?
Yeah. It would have been when we were playing Brisbane.
Playing Gold Coast.
Gold Coast, yeah.
Gold Coast 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we both have long hair, so that's how we know how long it is.
Well, look, the first thing is the new single, latest single.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. What's the story and the inspiration behind that single?
So that's Sweet Baby Brown Eyes. So that's a song that was actually written by my dad's band, which was back in the 70s. I think it was recorded back in 1976. It was on their first self-titled album, and it was one of their singles. And obviously with the name, we carried on their name, Avalanche. And it's been 4 years now since we started the band, and we wanted to do a cover of one of their songs. And I had a good chat with Dad about it beforehand, and he said like we should change it up, make it our own sort of thing. And so we did sort of try and like make it a sort of modern, sort of generational spin to it. But yeah, that's really the bulk of it. Was really just wanted to cover one of their songs and see how we could stack up.
And how'd you find the reception to it?
It was wonderful. Like I think the song had probably the most radio play out of any song that we've released so far.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good.
On its second or third week, it got like number 4. It got number 5, and then it got number 4 on the like community radio charts here in Australia.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's really good. That's a lot of exposure.
Before, yeah. And I think at the end of it, we had like an airplay report that we saw that was like worldwide for the song, and we had over 1,300 plays just worldwide on radio. So
wow. Geez, that's really good. That's a good platform to then keep pushing from, isn't it? Like that you've got that push through to the next bit of exposure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And for that one, well, leading up to that one, I mean, it does sound different to the first EP. So the creative process, the songwriting process, or the, I suppose, that was a cover, but how has that changed in the last 2-3 years?
Yeah, when we first started recording, we were just recording at like mates' houses, like just home studios, and that was our first EP. It was a home studio done by our friend Luca, which is now working in studios himself. So we've all kind of just moved on from there and just sort of got into bigger and better studios. And the last 2 singles we recorded at A-Sharp recording studios, and that was with a producer, which was the first time we worked with a producer, and his name was Steve James. He's worked, he's been around forever, and he's worked with like Cold Chisel, he's worked with the Angels. In Britain, he used to work with the Sex Pistols and Hawkwind, Lemmy's old band. He even worked on the Monty Python movies and did some of the songs for that. So yeah, he's really been around the block, but he knows his Aussie rock. He's worked with all those bands, the Screaming Jets. He does all of their stuff and the Angels and all that. So yeah, we thought it would be helpful to work with a producer. So we ended up working with him, and that was probably our best sort of sounding recordings these last 2 so far.
Yeah, definitely made a different whole new level to the songwriting process, like having pre-production sessions with him and sort of having someone to sort of sit there and actually play the songs to before we thought about recording them, and say like, oh well, what do you reckon we could do to make it better or whatever.
And Steve just had these really small changes that he had us do that kind of just made the whole song. So, I think Sweet Baby Brown Eyes, for instance, he told us just tune a half step down and there was a few other things in like the choruses that he made us do, and that just like made the whole song. So yeah, little things like that we wouldn't have otherwise done ourselves was really handy.
Well, that was going to be my question: is the difference that those, how much input did he have that you then take onwards after that experience?
Well, it's kind of funny because like I remember when we went into the studio with the first two songs, because we did Bottle of Sin and we did Sweet Baby with him, and all of us were sort of like, because like it wasn't that we weren't 100% sold on the songs, but we were just like unsure of how they were going to go in recording because I don't think we'd ever played them live at that point. And yeah, like playing them to him and him changing just a few slight things. Like I think one of the big changes on the choruses was he actually got me to harmonize on the chorus of Sweet Baby, which really just brought in that whole extra level of like layer to the choruses, but also called back to the original because the original my dad harmonized on the choruses as well. So that was like a big thing. I've never really harmonized with myself before, like so that was a pretty big sort of step forward and really, really elevated the song to the point where we were like, oh wow, like this is definitely like a song we want to put out on the radio and get out there,
Another thing was for Bottle of Sin. Ryan, you could probably better explain this, but the drumming doing like a stop and start thing in the first verse, and originally we had that in the second verse too. But it
got all changed. Like the first verse of Bottle of Sin was actually meant to be for two verses, but then on the second verse, Steve told us to change it up a bit instead of to stop it like the first one with the drumming pattern, just to keep it going so the song can kind of drive and lift off into the solos better. Yeah, so he kind of helped us tweak it a little bit to make it a bit better,
Yeah, and that
just elevate everything.
Yeah, and that has kind of like impacted our songwriting moving forward too, because we're like, oh, if we have like a bit of like a start and stoppy kind of start to the song, maybe at one point we can just stop doing that and keep kind of building it and keeping the momentum going rather than keep starting and stopping kind of thing. So kind of written a few songs now with that in mind. So yeah, that's definitely like helped to have that outside perspective. Yeah,
that's interesting, isn't it? Obviously, I mean, he's well experienced and one of the best at his craft, but it's I suppose it's a good opportunity that you got that because those tools and will stick with you now moving forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
Yeah, it could almost a 5-year head start. Someone can tell you something like that, and it takes 5 years off what you would have had to have done yourself to get there in an afternoon.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was literally the smallest changes, but that just impacted so much. And now we're thinking about that like songwriting moving forward. So, and we definitely plan to work with them again for like our next couple of things. So yeah.
And tell me if I'm wrong. You guys have now done an overseas tour.
Yes, we have.
Yes, we have.
And how did that go? I mean, the logistics of getting everyone over there and all the equipment. It's obviously not going to be as easy as jumping in the car and heading interstate.
No, that was,
You'd be surprised.
I mean, no, it was probably easier than like say if we were going to England or something because it was just like a few hours flight to.
But we were also super lucky with it.
Yeah,
I just really just happened to sort of be like a spur of the moment sort of thing. But we just I think it was we were promoting the Bottle of Sin tour at the time, and we got an email from someone over in EMEA, Pierre. His name's Pierre.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I love what you guys are doing. We're really trying to get more bands over here because I think it was sort of like the ending of the pandemic. They were trying to get the music thriving again, and he was putting on like a festival and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So he actually helped us with the whole thing, like paid for our flights and like sorted out our accommodation for us. And it was actually really easy to do just because of like all the stuff that he ended up helping us out with.
Jeez, that's great.
It was really successful too. Like he ended up getting like billboards done up and stuff like
ads in the paper and all that. So
it was really full on. Like it was like I mean, it was the most random thing. Like just wouldn't even have thought anything of it like to begin with. Like just a random email, but.
Yeah, we had literally no expectations when we went. We had no idea how it was going to go, and even when we were doing like sound check and up until the show was starting, it was all looking a bit empty. And then all of a sudden, like the gates opened up and there was all these people flooding through.
Yeah, it was packed.
It was an absolutely crazy.
Wow, so that's great. So it had a big turnout.
Yeah, it was so funny. The first night we were there, we did. I think it was first or second night we were there. We did a Rocktoberfest, which was the festival.
Night.
And literally, like, we brought over as much merch as we possibly could that we could get through customs, and we sold all of it in the first night. And we had no more merch left over for the rest of the shows. And it was nice. I think there was like 300 people at that Rocktober Festival show,
and they speak French over there as well. Mainly, they speak English too, but it's mainly French. But they still like knew all the words. They loved it. We played a few covers as well, like AC/DC and that. They love it. They really love their Aussie rock, and they love their Australian band. So yeah, we're really lucky. But saying that, there was a few like fuck ups. Like I think 3 of us didn't have passports. No, 2 of us didn't have passports, so we kind of had to do that. And Steve's bass, he has an Epiphone Thunderbird, and that's like the biggest bass. It's impossible to get a flight case for it.
and we ended up having to buy like a keyboard flight case for like an 88-note keyboard, and then just custom filling it with foam. And yeah, it was such a nightmare to deal with, but we ended up getting that.
And you're on the road again. So obviously you've got a big Queensland show coming up.
Yes.
So tell me about this tour. What's going to be, is there anything that's going to be different, or is there anything that people are going to expect or see that they haven't seen on the other shows for this time round?
Yeah, definitely. We've been working on quite a few new songs actually, so you can definitely expect to hear some new stuff.
Yeah, I think with wrapping up the Sweet Baby tour, we're trying to aim to sort of either get some sort of like EP or album together. Like we did a demo session, we recorded a whole bunch of songs for demos. So we've got a whole bunch of demos done, and we're looking to sort of probably start playing them at new shows to see what the reaction will be for, you know, like in a live setting, and what we want to sort of start recording next in like a proper studio setup and that. So I think that'll be the main sort of thing with these next shows, is really just playing new songs and getting some reactions to what we've been cooking.
Yeah, we've already been kind of playing around with our set lists lately, but it's going to be even more so now. So yeah.
And where are we going? Where's the next venues and dates that people are going to be able to jump on?
Yeah, so the next one is that they're in New South Wales. We're supporting the Poor, who are from Queensland. But yeah, they're rock royalty, Aussie rock royalty. They've been around forever, and yeah, we've played a couple of shows with them before, and so we're pretty keen that they asked us to join them on their.
Well, I was going to say they seem very keen to help other bands and bands that are coming up in the ranks as being newish, where you don't see that all too often. It tends to be a lot of pairings are being odd. You'll either get an odd pairing that doesn't really gel to the same format, or you'll get it. I don't know. I think it could be done a lot better, but I think the Paul make a real effort to make sure that they're bringing other guys along with them to get that exposure and experience.
Yeah, indeed.
I agree.
I think we've this will be like our second show we've done.
No, I think it's like our third or fourth.
They're definitely really welcoming the sort of newer rock community and that, which is great.
And on this tour as well, I know they're playing with like Black Aces and a few other cool bands that we know. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, those dates are on May 26th in Sydney at the Bridge Hotel, and May 27 at the Central Coast at the Ocean View Hotel. So,
right. And then when's the Brisbane gig?
That's June 3rd. That's Moondale Festival. So yeah, that's a festival that's been going on for a few years now, and we've sort of been messaging the promoters trying to get on it for a while. So we're finally on this year.
Oh, that's great that you got a time slot for it. That's perfect.
Yeah, we're pretty happy. There's some pretty cool bands and musicians, and they'll have other things like art stalls and markets and things going on there. So yeah.
And any other chance of a second Queensland show while you're up this neck of the woods?
Oh, probably not this time around, but we do have a few other Queensland things planned that we can't talk about yet. But we have some pretty cool things planned pretty soon, so just keep an eye out.
Well, that was going to bring me to my next question: is how do yourselves, the whole band, really, how do you manage the demands of touring, home life, work life? You know, the just fitting it all in and giving your attention to everything that needs it, as well as your passion. Is that a constant struggle, or have you got a system sort of sorted out now that everyone can just get in the flow and take time off their other things to pull away and jump in the van and hit the road?
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, you know, like life always does get in the way, and there's always things that you've got to work around and all that. Like even just this year, like Arthur just got married, which is awesome, really, really awesome to see. And like obviously we've had to work around that. So there's that. Like me and Veronica got married 2 years ago. We had to work around that, and like
And
there's
I'm
just,
single.
there's always things that'll always pop up.
What'd you say?
I said I'm single.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, he's available.
But I will say though, like being married to Veronica and me and her working together, like
It does,
behind the scenes, it does make it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Like we tend to find that we can get like a lot more sort of like of the business related stuff side done just because we're obviously around each other 24/7.
100%.
So if anything pops up, it's just like, hey, what do you think of this? Or hey, what do you think of that? I think at the end of the day, like we're all just really passionate about music, and like no matter what would happen, even if we were just playing in our bedroom, we would all still be playing every single day, whatever.
Is there any secrets on the future? Any plans? The album? Is it?
Well, for at the moment, we're literally just looking to record our next few singles. So as soon as we hit the studio, we're looking to probably do all the stuff again, straight away.
Yeah, we're
go on another tour, release a whole nother video, and do all that sort of stuff, and try and build up like some really big hype for like a good album release. I think that'll be really where our next step lies. We're going to be trying to go overseas at some point this year. We're just trying to line up a few things. So hopefully something will pan out. Like it's
be great to jump on with the Paw, because they're always back and forth to Europe.
Yeah,
exactly. Like I think they just literally finished up in Europe, doing the album launch tour there. So there you go.
Yeah, we've got like quite a few shows and a few festivals and things in the works that we're going to be announcing soon. And I'm pretty sure it's okay to say this because we'll be announcing this pretty soon. But we're playing a residency at the Duke of Enmore in Newtown here for June. We're playing every Thursday night, so free entry. So if you come down, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Well, that was going to be my next question: is your thoughts on the state of the live scene in Australia at the moment?
I think with Australia, it seems to me at least that it just can be very finicky. Like you can't really predict it. Like it's very, very unpredictable in the sense that like, you can go someplace and have a really good show and have like a full sellout crowd, and then go back a month or a couple of months later, and then something will happen. Like there'll be another big show happening or a couple of big shows happening. You might not do as well. And it can just be very finicky like that.
But like for saying that, like there's also a really good community. I feel like if you pick good bands, if you play good shows, you play venues and places consistently, and you build your fan base, you can't really go wrong. Like sure, some nights will be better than others. Some nights won't be that great, but as long as you keep at it, kind of thing.
Just keep showing up and keep doing what you do.
It's definitely
I think it's also like a big thing with promotion, like especially like I was saying, like when you're playing shows all year long, like and people eventually don't want to or don't have the money to put in for as much promotion or whatever. Like it's just really important. Like that's always got to be there. Otherwise, people just don't know about the show.
But
and that's a big thing with some Aussie bands as well. Like I think promotion's always a big thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, one of the great things though is that there's definitely quite a few people that are super dedicated, and you'll see them at every gig. They'll even fly out to see you. So we know quite a few people like that. Ralph, Paul, Dane, just name I could name dozens and dozens. I could be here
that's great that you've got that.
Absolutely dedicated people that literally just fly out. They see shows. They come from hours away. They'll be at every show, every second show, kind of thing. And we really appreciate that. And I think that's pretty unique to like the Australian scene. As far as
especially for this kind of music, I think like hard rock, there's definitely that like still loyal, dedicated fan base as well.
Well, guys, obviously, I wish you the best for this pending album and the tour. So, as always, proud and happy to support Australian music and Australian rock where I can. And I will put a link on my page once again to direct people to your website where they can find all the tour dates and watch the videos and purchase the albums and all the rest of it.
Probably should mention for Moondoll. For Moondoll, you can actually get your tickets online, or you can get discounted tickets if you like come right to us. So if you
we have hard tickets as well.
Yeah, so if you just want to like email us, message us on social media or whatever, we can like sell you a hard copy ticket for like $10 cheaper and no booking fee, and it helps us out because we get like more of the fee from that ticket than like the overall ticket. So if you want to help us out and you want to come to Moondoll, then DM us about that. So.
All right, guys. Till next time.
Thanks,
Thank
Francis.
you. Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thanks very much, everyone, for sticking to the end of the show. If you're interested, head over to bumpinginto.com.au. You'll find more information there about this show, which will have links to the band and their tours. I'm going to do my best to get a couple more episodes out. I've got a few more Bumping Into That Sound episodes that I'm yet to actually release. So I'm working on getting those out as fast as I can if you are interested into the music side of the show. Otherwise, there'll be a couple of other ones also. So keep an eye on the website. That's the best spot, is the website, if you are interested and enjoy any of the stuff that we put out. Once again, thanks very much, and I will catch up with you on the next one.